As we look across the out grid, your West Australian KZ competitors getting lined up and ready to roll out for their first heat of the weekend. Some big names in WA karting of current years and years gone by, of course. Dan Curry there, a multi-time West Australian Series champion in the West Australian KZ Series. Everyone getting lined up and ready to go. With some newcomers to the class this weekend and some returning drivers who haven't made their appearance for quite some time. The forms of the likes of Jason Lecoq making his step into KZ2 here with the number 80 Hyperkart. It's good to see Josh Byrne and his step into seniors as well. The 86 machine coming to play in KZ as they get set to go. This is the top flight class in West Australian karting, also referred to as Pro Gearbox. 125cc, 6-speed sequential transmissions, getting the job done with a hand-operated clutch, standing starts, and big action. This is KZ2, brought to you by Terra Mining, your third feature class for this weekend. Here at the Terra Mining Dash for Cash 2021, this man Connor Roth, the number 5 Formula K Kart, will start from the rear of the field here as they get out on track and get ready in formation. Check in on your starting grid here. It's Nick Middick with the pole time in this morning's session. He'll start on P1 of that standing start grid here on the main straightaway. Samuel Dicker will start alongside him. Of course, the newly crowned West Australian KZ Series champion. Making his way to the front row here, Tommy Shue will go to P3. A recently anointed cowboy going for a bit of a rodeo experience in coming weeks, and Tommy ticks off another sport on his master list. James Mackay going to P4 here from Simon Gwilym. P5, Scott Mackay in P6. Corey Minton, good to see Corey back and racing here. Corey goes P7 in qualifying from Damon Papa Sergio in P8. Jason Lecoq in P9 from Daniel Trow in P10. And Daniel Curry in P11. Bailey Gretsch in P12, Josh Byrne in 13 from Melinda Sully in the 14th spot. Over Courtney Goff and Paul Pedrotti and Connor Roth making your 17 drivers in KZ2 this weekend as they get out in formation. You can see Middick just trying to bunch up the field so he doesn't have to stay sitting still for too long. As they all bunch up around the velodrome, they'll peel onto the front straight and go to their allocated starting positions. And that's what we keep those standing start markings for on the front straight here at Eastern Goldfields Kart Club. As we get set to go, KZ2. This is 15 laps for Heat 1. Middick pulls himself all the way to the right-hand side to take the number 1 spot here from Dicker on the outside front row. Then Shue, Mackay, Gwilym, Mackay, then Minton, Papa Sergio, Lecoq, and Trow, your top 10. They all get lined up and ready to go. A little creep there from Dicker. We are away for Heat 1. Oh, Damon Papa Sergio catches a tyre on Corey Minton, and he got very lucky not to go sky high on this opening lap here. But it looks like the two BRM boys getting out ahead of Sam Dicker into third. It's Middick leading from Shue, then Dicker right behind him as they climb the pit straight. This opening lap of racing here for KZ2 Heat 1 of the weekend, brought to you by Terra Mining here at the Dash for Cash. Through the teardrop on the opening lap, we catch Dan Curry at the front of this little pack, and down the hill it's Shue. Backing his way back into Sam Dicker here from Mackay, right there in P4. Now Simon Gwilym and Corey Minton have moved up a couple of spots each as we hit the velodrome for the first time. It's Nick Middick leading the way from Tommy Shue in second as they clamber onto the main straightaway through that chicane, taking big bites of the curbing to upset the kart's momentum and get it rotated by keeping the tyres off the racetrack. And how's this battle all pouring through? 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, and continuing on through the field here of 17 drivers in contention for KZ2 this weekend. Nick Middick out front from Tommy Shue, then Sam Dicker, James Mackay, Simon Gwilym, Corey Minton, Damon Papa Sergio, Scott Mackay, Jason Lecoq, and Dan Curry rounding out your top 10 so far. As we follow Tommy Shue out of Patrizi's and into the velodrome. Sam Dicker tucking in behind him and trying to close up the gap. It's early days yet But these guys will be thinking a little bit about tyre management. But one of the interesting portions of this weekend here at the Dash for Cash is you're allowed 2 sets of tyres for the weekend's racing in KZ2. So tyre management isn't as important. You still have to make them last through the heat races to give yourself points and just get into the top 10 shootout. But if you're leading the way early in the weekend, you may just be showing too much of your hand. Because once you make that top 10 shootout, then you can unleash all the fury onto the racetrack tonight under lights. Park yourself on pole with a brand new set of tyres and take off into the night sky here at Eastern Goldfields Kart Club. The Dash for Cash bringing a different race format to KZ2 with 2 sets of tyres and a top 10 shootout before a feature race under lights tonight here. We are 3 down and 12 to go. It's still Nick Middick, the fastest on track of 45.004 for Nick. Over Tommy Shu in second, Sam Dicker third, James Mackay in 4, and Simon Gwillim rounding out your 5. As they pour through the teardrop, we follow Gwillim and Minton fighting it out here. This is 5th and 6th on the road. Corey making a return to KZ in this willpower kart, prepared by his dad Simon, of course. As your lead pack filters through into the velodrome. They're all starting to space themselves out now. And even gaps, no real heavy battles coming through your field. But they're all pushing relentlessly down the line. It's 4 down and 11 to go here in KZ2, Heat 1 of the weekend. Nick Middick, Tommy Shu, and Sam Dicker, your top 3 so far. Running down, it was 5 laps down and 10 to go last time across the stripe. It looked for a moment like Sam Dicker was under pressure here from James Mackay in the 15 machine. That number 15 comp kart. But it does look like they've got themselves a bit of a gap here as Simon Gwillim on camera right now, holding down P5. And now Dicker closing up under the back of Tommy Shu here in the fight for second. No one can touch up Nick Middick out front. He's got too much of a gap, the number 96 BRM car. But Dicker looks to the inside up the main straightaway. Will grab the spot from Tommy Shu, who now has to counter back to the inside to prevent anything coming from James Mackay behind him. Tommy Shu getting dropped into the 3rd spot now. Nick Middick leading the way. Sam Dicker second from Shu in 3rd. Then Mackay, followed by Gwillim and Minton through the teardrop. It's starting to bunch up here in KZ2 for the first heat of the weekend. Minton with a late move up the inside of Gwillim. And Minton will go to P5 as they head down towards Patrizzi's. You can see them flashing across the back of this battle pack at the moment. Tommy Shu back there in P3 from Mackay in 4. Now Minton moving up into P5, putting Gwillim down to 6 as they bring it around onto the main straightaway. Sam Dicker and the number 72 Flat Out Karts willpower kart down the line. It was 8 to go this time across the stripe here. It looks like Sam making a little mistake through turns 1 and 2. Can't quite get away from Tommy, who's eyeing off the back of him at the moment through the teardrop. Nick Middick is G-O-R-N, gone out front. Nobody catching Nick this morning here in this first heat of the weekend, but still a lot of racing yet to go. Another 15-lap heat race, followed by their 20-lap pre-final, then the top 10 shootout, and the 25-lap feature race under lights tonight here at the Terra Mining Dash for Cash, the richest race in West Australian karting here at Eastern Goldfields Kart Club. Down the line, Sam Dicker plucking the gears as they go 7 laps to go here. Tommy Shu trying to stay in touch at the moment, right there in 3rd. Nick Middick last time across the line, still quicker than most of the field. A 45.2 last time for Nick. Dicker with a 45.3, Tommy Shu a 45.24, James Mackay 45.3, Corey Minton 45.4. Over Gwillim, Papa Sergio, Lecoq, Curry and Gretsch, your top 10. Scott Mackay in 11 from Paul Pedrotti, Melinda Sully, Courtney Goff, Josh Byrne, and Daniel Trower. Your 16 remaining drivers, unfortunately, we lost Connor Roth a couple of laps ago. And he's parked up on the infield, just adjacent to the main straight. This battle here with Corey Minton and Simon Gwilliam fighting it out down the main straightaway. There's the 6 laps to go here. Quite long heat races throughout the day here at Eastern Goldfields Kart Club, as we'd be approaching the back end of a heat race in a regular class. But of course, these guys getting that KZ2 and feature class designation for the weekend. They get the showcase, and they're going to put on a display all day long here at Eastern Goldfields Kart Club. Minton and Gwilliam fighting it out as they bring it into the velodrome. Minton, that fantastic late move on Simon Gwilliam moments ago, grabbed him the spot, but it looks like Gwilliam is closing up the back end again as they go 5 to go down the line this time by. Four laps to go here between Corey Minton and Simon Gwilliam, closing right up under brakes in turn 2. Gumpy is very quick through this opening portion of the lap. Look at the attitude on the 12 kart as he slides out to the outside of the corner, climbing the pit straight. Has to settle things down through the teardrop and the 2 right-handers that accompany it, and down into the tighter section of the racetrack. It's very tight down at the bottom of the hill here at Patrici. Such a tight bit of curving. And the off-camber drop off into the velodrome. Trying to keep the cars straight and keep your forward momentum going rather than just sliding off to the edge of the racetrack. As we pick up your race leader, 3 to go here for Nick Middick. He's in control right now. 2.5 seconds over Sam Dicker back there in second. Middick feeling good this weekend here in the BRM kart. Made his step back into KZ2 karting a couple of seasons ago here in Western Australia, up at, I believe it was the King of the Hill or the Western Shootout at Hurricane Go-Kart Club a couple of years ago. Sam Dicker in and out of karts all the time. He spends the majority of time spinning spanners and coaching the next generation through flat-out karts. Finds a little bit of spare time in his weekend campaigns to jump behind the wheel of this Willpower kart and rip around as the newly crowned West Australian KZ Series champion. As they climb the pit straight, he has a bit of a lead over Tommy Shue in that 3rd spot as they head through the teardrop. James Mackay back there in P4, Corey Minton in P5, from Gwilliam in 6, Lecoq in 7, Papa Sergio in 8, Daniel Curry, a veteran of the class here in P9, Scott Mackay rounding out your top 10. As we pick them up as they come onto the main straightaway. 1 to run here in Heat 1 of KZ2, brought to you by Terra Mining. Nick Middick is out front. You can see him flashing across your screen there. Dicker and Shue though, still fighting it out as they climb the pit straight. Shue bouncing across the track, trying to open up the exit and get some closing speed on Dicker. But he's not going to have any of it, is Sam Dicker. He's going to hang on to this 2 spot in the closing stages here. Bring it around the velodrome and onto the main straightaway. Nick Middick claims Heat 1 here in KZ2 for the 96 BRM machine. Sam Dicker home in 2nd, Tommy Shue in 3rd, James Mackay in 4th, and Corey Minton will round out your top 5 here in KZ2. There is a look at your finishing order as they come through and wrap things up for Heat 1 of KZ2, brought to you by Terra Mining, here at the Dash for Cash at Eastern Goldfields Kart Club. Back on track, tag 125 restricted light, brought to you by First National Real Estate and MLG. Get the restricted lights out on track, 13 of them bringing the party to Kalgoorlie this weekend, and it's Jacob Potts who takes out the top qualifying spot in the morning session. Sebastian Fiorenza on the front row to join him as they get set down the line. The lights go out and Senators Racing. Potts, he gets a good break from the field here in the Tony Kart machine. Fiorenza into that second spot. Sebastian recently making a step towards racing in some radicals and open wheelers here in Western Australia. It's going to be exciting for young Sebastian, working his way through his racing career. Sebastian became one of the lucky 3 drivers to be picked in the Arise Racing Junior Driving Program and go competing. And he'll make his debut at Wanneroo Raceway very soon here. If he has a good enough run, he'll be one of those drivers with a chance to compete in the FSR Championship at Wanneroo Raceway through 2022. As he finds himself in second behind one man who's no stranger to getting it sideways, Jacob Potts, out front, leading the way here in 125 restricted light. Potts also no stranger to running a double duty system in his race program as he works his way through. Pottsy campaigning a speed car in various West Australian major speedway events in the coming season. He had a run up in Geraldton over last weekend, and he's getting ready for the coming couple of weeks at Perth Motorplex. I'll wave to him from the infield as he zips on by in the speed cars in the coming weekends over in Perth. Of course, they are running the Scarterfield Smash Repairs King of Wings tonight at Perth Motorplex before they have the City of Kwinana Cup next weekend. And they'll back it up with the John Day Classic and WA Sprint Car title on December 4. Be expecting to catch Jacob in those coming weeks over at Perth Motorplex as well, as he leads away here from Fiorenza in second. Riley Casson-Roberts in that third spot from Cassie Linto in the 4. Tyron Williams rounding out your 5 over Jamie Taylor in 6. Wade Saunders in 7. James Kerben, Damien Sealander in 8 and 9. The 21 here of Tyron getting caught up at Patrizi's, and Jamie Taylor had to scramble to find a way not to drive into his rear bumper. As we pick up Riley and Casey down the line, fighting it out for third and fourth here. Pushing the envelope as Sebastian a little bit further up the road in second. Now 1 second behind Jacob Potts, your race leader, as they climb the pit straight. Picking them up as they make their way through the teardrop. As we watch on from buried deep into the bush, right on the outside of the chicane, hitting the main straightaway. You gotta love it out here in Kalgoorlie. You go 10 metres off the racing surface and it's bush. Riley and Casey fight it out through the velodrome here in 125 restricted light. Glued together as they hit the chicane and rocket down the main straightaway. There's something dangling. It looks like the GoPro's come off Riley's go-kart and it's just dangling by its tether, flapping around on the NASA panel. This is why we use tethers to stop our GoPros from coming flying off. Because if that mount lets go, assumedly it was only stickied on with the little 3M hot shoe mounts that GoPro give you. Riley will be thankful for that tether to keep the GoPro from scattering itself into a million pieces across the racetrack here in Kalgoorlie. Of course, forward-facing cameras, the norm in Australian karting now to record all your racing, and penalties given out if you fail to show up with usable footage and properly formatted cards. A lot of discussion recently about the use of pushback and drop-down nose cones and front fairing infringements that have been utilised on the East Coast for quite some time, but which did cause a lot of controversy at the recent OK and OK Junior World Championships on the world karting scene. This juror and commentator is still not quite certain whether they're going to be a beneficial addition to WA karting. Time will tell, as they're looking to be trialled in Tag 125 light classes over the 2022 racing season here in Western Australia. We catch your race leaders, Jacob Potts and Sebastian Fiorenza. Fiorenza has a hot lap of the race right now, a 48.150 for Sebastian as they hit the main straightaway. Sebastian putting his hand over the engine and dealing with something there on that Rotex-powered machine, and just dealing with something going on with the 71 there as he made his way down the main straightaway, but doesn't seem to be costing him time as James Coburn sets a hot lap of the race now. James in P5, the 87 machine, closing the gap to Casey Linto and Riley Casson-Roberts. He's only about 0.6 of a second off that fight for third, fourth, and fifth on the road. As Fiorenza closing the gap to the back of Potsy as they hit the velodrome. The battle behind for 3, 4, and 5. Starting to really get tight here. We'll pick them up as they come around the velodrome and see how this battle goes. This is a fight for third as they make their way into the chicane. It's 3 laps to go, this time across the stripe. Riley Casson-Roberts leads this pack here from Casey Linto in P4, and James Coburn now onto the back of this battle. As I think Coburn set a red-hot time in qualifying, but may have had a form of penalty that saw him starting down the order. As they come through the teardrop, it looks like Riley is able to open up a bit of a gap through the middle portion of the lap here over Casey. Coburn behind, still struggling to find his way around. Casey dropping right off now. Coburn elevating up into P4, it seems. As we pick up your leaders down the main straightaway, 2 laps to go here for Jacob Potts over Sebastian Fiorenza in second. Past Canteen Corner and up the hill, hard on the brakes with that domed corner profile through turn 2. My knee, squashing spiders in our commentary booth. We are in the bush. We're in the outback here at Eastern Goldfields Kart Club, and it's to be expected as we watch on. Potsy leading the way as he hits the velodrome. Fiorenza staying in touch with him, and he was closing right up for a little short period of time was Sebastian, but it looks like he has lost some ground as they hit the main straightaway with 1 to run here. Potsy leads away over Fiorenza in second. 0.7 of a second the gap here for Jacob Potts out front. He brings it out of the chicane for the final time. Jacob Potts grabs a win here in Heat 1 of Tag 125 Restricted Light. Sebastian Fiorenza in second. James Coburn in third over Casey Linto in fourth. And Riley Casson-Roberts rounding out your top 5 here in 125 Restricted Light. Heat 1 brought to you by First National Real Estate and MLG for the 2021 Dash for Cash here at Eastern Goldfields Kart Club, brought to you by Terra Mining.